Welcome to the Savage Productions YouTube channel.
Everybody, welcome back to the Savage Productions YouTube channel. Today I have a really exciting update for you. Been working on my Mustang a little bit. Haven't really been recording because it's all just been like wiring and stuff like that. That's not really all that entertaining at all, and it's not fun to do. Yeah, just haven't really been putting out a whole lot of updates with that. But today there's something really exciting that's going on. Y'all may remember I am sponsored by Nitrous Express for my 363 build, and they are helping me out with this kit right here. So I'm gonna do a quick unboxing. It's the kit that they have for the Pushrod 5.0 engines. The plate system just kind of replaces where the EGR goes. I don't have the engine in the car yet, but we're just gonna go ahead and get all the wiring done and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of wiring to be done with the progressive Nitrous Controller that I bought. I'll show you that in a bit. But we figured that we'll go ahead and get the Nitrous Kit now and just kind of take advantage of some of the interior being out and go ahead and wire all that stuff up. So I'm gonna show you the Nitrous Kit here in just a bit, and then I'll go and show you the progress that we've made on the car, and then we'll actually start the install of this entire kit on the car. So let's start here. This is a 15-pound bottle. It's fairly large. Here's my hand for reference. But I opted for this one because I'm going to be running about a 250 shot whenever I can. So I'm going to be going through a lot of nitrous. So I figure that, you know, the bigger the better. We'll move on to the next box here. And in this box was another bottle. So I got two of the big ones. And there's some other stuff in here. So this is what the kit normally includes. It has the bottle bracket for your bottle, the nitrous line itself, some electrical fittings, some wiring, some relays. This is like a wide open throttle switch, so you put that on your throttle cable normally to kind of signal wide open throttle, but we're going to be doing something different, so I'm really not going to be using almost none of this minus this cable here. And then in here is the actual plate kit. So this is the small line that probably connects into the main line right here, and then this is actually the plate. So the whole deal about this one is that the solenoids are integrated into the plate system. And then as you can see, this one says 75 millimeter, and there are different rings that you can insert inside of these to adapt up or down to whatever size throttle body you have, or for whatever size opening you have on your intake. And the intake that I have right now is actually an 80, and I have an 80 millimeter throttle body, but I am going to be stepping up on intake size, so I'm going to be going ahead and ordering a 90 millimeter ring that they have for these. In this box we actually have some pretty cool stuff as well. We have some of our braided hoses that we need. We have the NHRA blow down tubes, so you connect that to the bottle and then bend it to go through the floorboard just in case. Then we have the two fittings for the blow down tubes. Went ahead and sprung for the billet bracket. It's actually the double billet bracket. I'll show you this thing in just a bit because we need to figure out how we're going to mount all of this stuff. So I'll have both of those two 15-pound bottles in there secured by this awesome looking billet bracket. And then the creme de la creme, the Maximizer 5 Nitrous Controller. This thing's gonna be the bomb for helping me get down the track. So this is the controller here. It's got wiring right there. Has all sorts of inputs for different safety functions. There's an input to make sure that your AFRs don't go too lean. If it does, that'll cut nitrous. There's another one for like an angle gauge, and then you can plug it in and it has a wheelie control. It has all sorts of stuff like that. So I'll get into some of the features with that later on as well. I think that's the tuning cable for it there. It's the computer. And I also ordered a digital dash for this thing, which will allow me to, on the fly, just kind of change the tune as need be. That's not here yet, but that'll be getting here pretty soon. All right, so over the past few weeks, this is where we have gotten to. Y'all might have seen one of the last videos where we got the cage painted, and then we also put the fuel tank in and everything. But we've made a little bit more progress here. As you can see, there's some wires that are still kind of hanging down and stuff. The majority of that is just from our gauges that we did have up here, but I had to get a new trim piece here because of the bar gauges. A-pillar gauges really didn't work up there, so I got one that is pretty much going to go right there. I bought something from a late model restoration. It has the kind of insert for a DIN radio, and then has 3 gauges that it accepts. So we need to finish up some wiring there, and while we had all of this kind of undone and not tucked up and everything like that, I figured it'd be a good time to go ahead and contact my buddies over at Nitrous Express tell them that it's time to start wiring in a nitrous controller. So anyway, all of this is in. The dash is all hooked up and everything. The switch up here is hooked in. This is going to be my nitrous activation switch right here. And then we have one long wire running down right here. Yep, nitrous switch. So it's currently just running down from the positive side of that switch right there. My tac's wired in and everything, and then all the gauges are going to come out right there, like I said. So pretty much the entire interior is in, really. All the trim pieces and everything all the way around. The only thing I have to put in is my seats, which definitely going to wait on that until all the wiring is done. All right, so we've been doing a lot of brainstorming. I'll throw a picture up on the screen now of what the bottles are going to look like just sitting in there. We took the battery box kind of out like this, and then the bottles are just going to sit in here right like that, like you saw in the picture. And the way that we're going to mount it, we're just kind of going to build a bracket. We got some iron stock here, some square tubing. Where's the other piece? All right, there's two big pieces, one medium and one small. We're going to have pretty much two rails going like this. Going to have some connectors in between, some going down to the bottom, welded to the ground, and then maybe some off to the side like this. So it was a lot easier if I just went ahead and took the battery box out. The cables and all are still connected, so I just kind of have it laying over here with the blanket protecting the car. Coming 2 inches off of the battery box, and then the bracket will be perfectly in the middle. Nitrous bottles will look really, really good. We saw that the seam sealer is going to be right in our way. Got a little bit of that off, and then we're going to go ahead and measure it out, get this thing cut at least a little bit to length, and then we'll start shaping it properly to get this side going. And then once we get this side going, we'll probably tack it in, measure off of that side to this side. We have the bracket sitting over there, so we'll know how far apart they need to be. Measure from this side to this side, weld this one in, or tack this one in, and then start building the bracketry around it to secure it more to the tub. All right, so I got the first piece of this stock here cut out. Didn't do too bad of a job. I'm gonna have a little bit of a gap on the end there, but you know, I cut it, so first time, no big deal. So back here, we're gonna hook it up about there. Need to have it 2 inches off of that line, or about 2 inches, because this is a little short. So it's gonna be like that. And it's fitting in pretty nicely right in here. Dad's gonna go ahead and tack that up for me. And then I'm gonna go on from there. Alright. This little wire field welder is gonna produce some ugly welds, but that's all we got for now.
That's just a tack anyway.
Yeah, just a tack.
That way we can
Move it a little bit, square it up, do what we gotta do. All right, so we put two little legs here. That looks pretty good. We're gonna have to grind off the welds on the right side right here because we wanna be able to put this bar between the two. And we're just gonna force it all the way up against there and weld all across the edges, but this is how it's gonna extend over here, and then the other bar is gonna come on this side. So we measured this one out to the size of the bracket. We're gonna weld it up in that corner right there once we grab the welds down, and then just start working on the other bar, do the other legs, probably do some pieces to the side, stuff like that, and then we're gonna take it out, finish up the welds, paint it, and then put it back in. So we got the bar going across here. We got another little kicker. This one's more of a support than a real brace. And then check out this nice little curve, connecting it down here. Watch out, 10 soldier race cars.
Really?
Savage Fabrications is coming for you.
I doubt it.
All right, after a quick lunch break, we got the last three legs on here. We still need to etch out around on the bottom here where we need to grind. But we're gonna go ahead and take this thing back out. We're gonna add one more kind of bar going across here, same size as this one, just to kind of give it a little bit more reinforcement, but we'll do it when we take it out. So we're gonna take it out, finish all the welding up on it, probably go ahead and paint it and throw it back in. All right, got it out of here. He's just gonna go ahead and do the finish welding. Here's that other extra little brace I was talking about. He's gonna finish welding everything, probably do on top, we'll grind it smooth, and then we also need to go ahead and put it back in and then mark the holes for the bracket. We're going to put bolts through the holes, and then the bolts are going to go all the way through this bracket, and the nuts are going to be welded on the backside. Alright, so we got the bottle bracket painted. Got the bolts, or the nuts welded on the bottom there. It all fits really good. All of these are successfully started into the threads, so that's cool. And we just did a little test fit here, and this is pretty much where the bottles are going to be sitting. We went ahead and just kind of put everything back inside of the car because this is where we're going to wrap up today. We're going to come back and hit the rest of this probably in a couple days. Next things that we're going to do, I actually already put the blow-off fittings on here, and that just connects to the NHRA blow-off tubes, which if it ever gets overpressured, it blows through the blow-off tubes, and then you drill a hole somewhere on the body, and it goes through the body and just vents all the nitrous down underneath the car. You have to have those to be NHRA legal on whatever you're working on. So that's probably going to be our next step. We do have to still weld this thing in. We haven't welded it in yet, but that's going to be a task for another day because we are beat tired. How's it going, guys? We're back here. It's been about 2 weeks actually. We were busy. We went to Somerset last week and we haven't really had much time to work on this thing. But we're back at it today. We already got a little bit of work done. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what's going on. So last time you saw, we had the bottles sitting in here on top of the bracket that we made, and we just kind of marked where the bracket was before because we took it out. We still have to weld it in. So we did a little bit of touch up on the bracket itself. We got the holes drilled for the blowdown tubes, and this is going to be our grommet for it, which these worked out really, really well because the little lines on the wiring loom actually caught on the metal in there, so it's not going to move. And I have the other one over here on the other side. But we just got all this covered up because we're about to start this welding. We also got this grommet placed in there, and that's where our nitrous line is going to be running through outside of the car. You typically always want the nitrous line running outside of the car. We're going to go ahead and mount up the bracket, and then we're going to start the wiring. We got the wiring diagram just kind of ready, and have a few wires that we need to run. So we're going to go ahead and mount this up in here and go from there. Alright, so some time has passed. I kind of just spared you all the details, but we actually got this thing fully welded in. That car ain't moving. You could freaking probably pull the whole car up by that if the bars didn't bend. But we got that in there secured nicely. Right now we're just messing with the wiring for the bottle warmers and the electronic transducer for the automatic bottle warmer through the Max 5 controller. Right here are the two relays. One relay is for each of the bottle warmers. I wired up these little 2-pin connectors, so these will be popping through the floor, and then the bottle warmer will connect into the other side of these. So one on each side. This one goes to power. The black cables go together, go to power. We're going to run that right here to our battery cutoff switch. The white are the signal wires that get signaled through the from the Max 5. Ran these together, and then we're going to connect these to the bottle heater output from the Max 5. So the green is the power to the bottle heater, and then the blues are the grounds. Have those running together, running over here, running up and attaching to an existing ground that was already here. So that one's all wired up, and then we just got these 4 wires. This is all we have to run to the front of the car for the bottle heater and the transducer. So you have the little tiny one. Show them that. So there's 3 wires for this, and we just have to match these up. We got kind of lucky with our wire color selection. The red, white, and black, which is going to red, white, and blue over here. Dad's got this all sealed up. So this is the electronic transducer. It plugs in right there. That's going to be sitting about right over there. Yeah, the back's coming together. We'll probably try to get the bottles just situated in there. We could really go ahead and pop the line through, but we don't really want to. We're not going to run it today because we don't have the engine in there. So it'd be a little difficult to run the nitrous line all the way up there. But we might go ahead and get all this buttoned down together, and we have to drill the holes in the carpet and get the screws going through there and all that stuff. So that's going to be a little bit of time. Did have to do a lot of cutting here. So this is our 6 bolts 3 here, 3 here. This is the little plate that goes kind of across the bottom. It's just like a hard particle board thing. That just keeps everything nice. This is where our nitrous line and the 2 lines coming up through the for the bottle heaters are going to go. This is where the transducer wires are going to come up through. And then we were going to do this for the 2 different ones, but we decided just to go with that one. Just going to get the wiring taken care of back here, and then after that we'll move on to the Max 5 probably on another day. All right, so we've reached the end of the day here. We just kind of get all this wiring done. It's looking really good. So this is going to be coming right up through the floor where the 2 bottle warmers connect. So got that and some nice wire loom. Got all this connected. This is going directly to power, and then this is the relay output that's going to be coming from the Max 5 up there. So we got that all ran in nice wire loom. Got this ran up here. This is for the sensor. So it's going to be coming up and plugging in like that. We had to reseal this because the stuff that we put on there didn't seal right the first time. This is running up here like this. Then we'll just attach this to battery power right there on the key on side. And then we have this running all the way in, and it's running all the way through. And I'll show you, we already have it kind of wired up. It's coming out right here. So it's already kind of stuffed in here. Probably can go ahead and put this little trim piece back on, but we have a little bit of wiring that needs done up in this vicinity up here. We have to kind of figure out where we're going to mount the Max 5. I'm thinking in this corner, and then I'm thinking that we're going to try to run the cable for the touchscreen behind the dash and then up this bar, and then actually mount it like up there. So that'll allow me to be able to switch tunes and stuff like that. So that'll be coming in the near future, but for now we're going to call it a day on this. We're going to take a little bit of break tomorrow, and then we'll be back in 2 days. So see you then. All right, guys, we're back here at the shop. Had a little bit of a delay this morning. Dad's not here yet, but he will be here in just a bit. But the bad part is he actually has the keys to the mailbox, so I've been working with no tools. Pretty much what's only on this tray right here, and that's about it. So I did actually go ahead and cut the holes inside of the carpet and just kind of get the nitrous bottle bracket mounted up in there. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you what's going on right here behind my big old head. So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what it's gonna look like. So there's a couple things I still have to do, because like I said, I don't have tools. Gotta screw in some of these screws a little bit more. I think still got a little bit of like wiring to do back here, so I don't want to completely connect everything up under here, so I still don't have the bottle warmers actually plugged in, but you can see them poking through the floor right there. And we have the nitrous line running right here. Nitrous line is currently just running inside of the wheel well, going out of the hole, and then it's just tied up underneath on the body. We're gonna run that eventually, but I just kind of tightened it up here, or not even tightened it up, just finger tightened it on to kind of see what it's gonna look like. But yeah, it turned out to be a really clean install here. Got the blowdown tubes going right there through the floor. That's what I did this morning. I just cut all the holes for all these bolts. Again, these are not tight because I don't have tools, but I got both of the bottles on and everything, just kind of mounted up. This is temporarily mounted up because that's not tightened down all the way. We still have to put this panel on, but yeah, man, it looks really freaking good. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Let me get this hatch closed and I'll kind of show you what it looks like through the top. All right, so we got my sticker here. We got Blank and Ship Tuning and Performance sticker, and then just peeking right inside, you can see the Nitrous Express bottles, and then you can kind of see the cage too. But with the tinted window and everything, the thing's gonna look good. And then pop the hatch at a show or a race or something like that, and people will never know. Minus the stickers that I'm gonna be putting on the front of the car. But yeah, this turned out really, really nice. Super happy with the way that it looks. The white bottles wouldn't have been my first choice, but Nitrous Express offers white bottles. That's their kind of brand thing, so those are the ones that I go with. And honestly, it turned out really, really good, especially with the bottle warmers on there, because these things are black. I love it, man. Turns out really nice. So thank you again, Nitrous Express, for the sponsorship and the help there. We're gonna get on installing the rest of this kit. Okay, so we kind of figured out where we're going to mount the Max 5 here. So I'm just going to put it in the glove box. I can see all the wires that are attached to it. Slide those up in there, and we'll find a way to secure it into this corner right here, and then as it closes, have to make sure all the wires aren't in the way, but as it closes, it'll just be concealed up in there. And then all the wiring that's coming down from the bottom here we'll take care of. We have a few things that we need to wire up, and then there's like the tuning cable, and then there's the cable that goes to the screen. And then this back here is actually from my Megasquirt, so we have additional wiring that we need to do with that. So a lot of wiring going to be happening in this corner right here. It's going to be a little bit fun, or not, but we'll figure it out. It's not going to be too bad. We have really good instructions to go by, and lots of features that this thing has. Okay, we've been working on it for maybe like an hour or so now. Just wanted to give you all a quick update. So went ahead and mounted the Max 5 in here. Have it secured in here with a couple nice zip ties. So we have the wires going up and over the back of this, which when this thing closes, it still works good. So the wires are coming out of there, they're zip tied up, and then we have one cable coming out and running up and behind here, and then we're going to tie it along the roll bar here, and we're mounting the digital display right up there that you had to buy separately from the Max 5. So we'll be mounting that up there, and I have this just kind of sitting here tied up ready to go. And then right here is the tuning cable. We have that kind of coming out of the wire loom here. We're going to run that back and actually run it to the same place with these other tuning cables. Only one of these is for the Max 5, and then the other two are for the Megasquirt. But then we also just put a grommet in here, drilled a hole. Might be able to see back there. Yeah, that rubber grommet right behind there. That's where we're going to run the signals, or the ground wires for the solenoids, and the power wire for the relay. So those are going to be running straight out of there. We just drilled that, put a grommet in it, and that's going into the inner fender well, which we, of course, we made sure that there was nothing on the back side. And then the rest of this wiring, the couple of things that's coming from the back, this is what we wired up the other day. These are going to be connected right here, and then the rest of this, we have a few things that we need to figure out on what we're going to be wiring up, but I think that we're going to be doing all of that probably up behind this air box right here. But we'll figure that out in a bit. All right, little update here. Got the rest of the wiring coming from the back. I got that wired up. All four of those are connected. And then there was 4 big cables coming out of the Max 5 controller, which still in here. So those 4 cables right there. You only see like 2, but there's 4. Those 4, 2 of them are for the solenoid, and 2 goes to this ground that I have right here. We ran those cables right outside. So this taped up one right there that you can see, that's running outside. And Dad actually ran those to the spot where the solenoids are going to be. So remember, I don't have the engine in this car, but we did what we could. So they're just they're coming up through here. Let me get the flashlight. So right there, coming through the floor, have it zip tied to the brake line, going up through there, connected into here, and then from there it's running inside of this wire loom, and then running out here, and then these are the 3 cables that we ran, this black, white, and red right there. So that'll go to the plate with the solenoids right here, around where the throttle body is, right in this area. But other than that, we kind of figured out the other wires that we need to connect. Some of them are going to need to connect to other wires that we have over there. Some of them need to connect to wires that are coming off of the Megasquirt. We have a tach signal. We have the AFR signal. We have the actual switched turn it on signal. So this one's going to be really important. We need the blue as well, because that is our TPS signal, the throttle positioning sensor. And then the pink is the stage 1 timing retard, which will go to the table switching input that we have on the Megasquirt. So the idea is that I'll be driving around on the motor tune, and then whenever I have this switch right there turned on, this will be powered up, but it's not going to activate the nitrous tune in the Megasquirt until it's actually activated, which is really cool that they have this output here. So It'll send a signal from here to the table switching input on the Mega Squirt, and then the Mega Squirt will switch the table. And then as I'm making the run, even though I'm stick shift, they have a delay built in to where this actually doesn't switch the table back if you back off the gas. You know, if you have to like back off a little bit because you're spinning or whatever, that way it doesn't switch the table back to the motor tune and then go right back to the nitrous tune. So this is a really cool feature. Glad to be having that, and then it's going to connect right in to the Mega Squirt. Other than that, I believe that all of these are not going to be used, at least for this round. We might be using some of these in the future, but for now these are just going to be in wire loom and taped up the ends. So we're beat tired, obviously, if you can't tell by my voice. But we're going to be getting back to this thing in another couple of days. Actually, probably going to be putting the engine in sooner rather than later. Now that we have all the wiring done and the big wire loom inside of that area, because we wanted to kind of get all of that done before we put the engine in, because we can actually sit in the engine bay and do it, which makes it a whole lot easier. We definitely have some other things to do with the Nitrous Kit. We'll be coming back and pretty much figuring out the rest of the wiring that we need to do in regards to this kit with the Mega Squirt that we have, making sure that we have all the wires necessary. The one thing that we're not so sure on just yet is the throttle positioning sensor, which it says that you 100% need the throttle positioning sensor for it to work, and it's just a throttle positioning sensor input. So if you don't have the throttle positioning sensor itself, you could use a wide open throttle switch, but it has to be wired into that blue wire. So we're going to see if the Mega Squirt itself has an output option, because it has two different outputs that you can configure. We're going to see if you can send the throttle positioning sensor signal out of one of those outputs, and then we'll put that into the blue wire and then use that for the Max 5. So all that will be coming later this week. We have a little bit of research to do just to kind of make sure the whole thing works with our system. It's going to be different for your system if you decide to purchase this kit. The wiring and everything like that is fairly simple for your general kind of installation, but like I said, it has all these kind of inputs that you can use for anything from a wheelie bar sensor to different kinds of traction control. There's a vehicle speed sensor in there, which that'd be really cool if we ended up getting one of those, because it will basically be traction control with the nitrous. It won't be as good as traction control with like the ECU, because then you could actually cut engine power. This is just going to cut the nitrous and the fuel. But we'll see how that can go. Hopefully we can get this thing hooked up on the motor alone, and then the nitrous will just come in, you know, really easily. We'll probably start adding some sensors as we go. But we're gonna get out of here, go take a breather, and we'll get back to you in another couple of days. Hey guys, we're back. It's been literally about a month or two since the last update on this, or the last video that you just saw like 5 seconds ago. But we finally got the Nitrous Kit pretty much all the way installed, pretty much as far as we can go without the engine actually being in. So in the last clip you saw, I was talking about how we probably are gonna get the engine in a couple weeks. Well, fast forward that to now, it's probably gonna be a couple weeks from now. We still have to get the heads repaired like I was saying, but we got all the wiring done as far as we can do with the Mega Squirt and the Max 5 Nitrous Controller. So all this is finalized back here. The bracket is 100% secured down to the frame that we built. I actually have all the interior in now, minus some seat bolts in the back. I got a new radio. Put the gauges in here. I bought this, which is just a plate that covers up a spot where a gauge goes. I got that off of Amazon. It's actually made, it's like a marine company that makes it for boats. But yeah, all the interior is in. It's looking really, really good with the cage. Super excited on how it came out. So all the wiring is done back here. I had to trim this piece quite a lot, pretty significantly. I had to cut it off here, which I didn't really want to do, which it usually goes all the way up here, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do. All the wiring is in there. Everything that I could protect is protected with wire loom of some sort. But everything's connected. I ended up having to go over and do all this a bunch of times over because there was like 3 different harnesses that all kind of came together right here, and the trim piece didn't even fit over it, and it still doesn't really. There's still kind of a gap. This is the relay that we used for the Nitrous Controller. So for the Nitrous Controller, we just followed the directions. We had the switch power being interrupted with that relay right there, and then that actually goes out to the wires that we have outside, which are going to power the solenoids. Here's another view of the interior from this side. Nitrous Express is actually in the process of making a mount for the screen, and I'm gonna run that cable up the bar and then over here and pretty much mount it right there. I'm kind of happy that I ended up painting the cage just flat black instead of the color of the car, because it just blends in with the interior really well, everything being black. So in the engine compartment here, we ended up running an additional 3 wires out. You see black, red, and white, and this other red one was already there. So those 3 are coming from the controller, and originally the way that we were looking at it, we thought that we needed to have a separate ground for the fuel solenoid and another one for the nitrous solenoid. But after looking at it again, we only had to have 1 ground with the way that we're going to set it up. So I looked into the Megasquirt outputs, and there is no way to really output the TPS sensor to an output that's actually going to show it a range. So the only outputs available were on-off, but we're going to pretty much just tie into the throttle positioning sensor with that red wire right there. The black is going to be the ground for both solenoids, and the white is power from the relay, and then red is going to be used for purge, which we're going to mount probably right around there. Haven't quite done that yet, but that'll be one of the next steps. Hopefully we probably should get to that before we put the engine in, but the engine will be getting dropped in hopefully within the next couple of months or so. I'd like to get it in and at least running before the end of the year. Anyway, I'm going to cut the video off there for the Nitrous Kit install. I know we didn't put the plate on because we don't have the engine in there to even put the plate up to. Actually, I'm going to show you the new ring that I got. I am going to be upgrading my intake to the TrickFlow box intake. I think it's a box R or something like that, but it's a 90mm inlet. So I got this little ring, and this ring compared to the other ones that actually go all the way in is just this little piece right here with an O-ring on the back, because it just sits right down in there like that. This thing will be mounted up here whenever we get the engine in, and the rest of the kit is pretty much done. The only other thing we have to do is run the nitrous line all the way to the front. Right now we just kind of have it tied up in the back of the car, so we have to do that, make sure that it's secure, and then once we actually get it in there, we'll blow it out and make sure that nothing's in it. Probably not going to be filling up the bottles with nitrous this year. That'll probably come sometime in spring or something like that. As far as the rest of the components of the car, everything's broken in and ready to race. The engine will have to be kind of re-broken in because it's a pretty much fresh build. But if I do take it to the track this year, if we are able to make it, which I kind of doubt, then we'll probably just do a couple motor passes so I can get used to it again, because it's been a while. It has been a long time. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you to Nitrous Express for sponsoring this build. I really appreciate it. They've kind of been sticky with me for these last couple of years, even though I haven't really gotten to the point where I've been able to purchase the kit. Finally have the kit, finally have it kind of installed into the car as much as I can for now. But they've been really lenient on everything like that, and really cool. So good company to work with. Same thing, they also own Snow Performance now. They're kind of a combined company, so hit them up too if you're looking into some meth injection stuff. We run that on a couple cars that we have, and couldn't be happier with it. Thank you all so much for watching. We just reached a little over 650 subscribers, so that's a pretty cool milestone. We're on our way to 750 and then 1,000 eventually, so can't wait to get there. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your support. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos if you haven't. We've had a lot of builds come out of the shop recently, a lot of good tech tips and stuff like that in there. Just, you know, some interesting stuff to watch as well. So if you're new, please subscribe, hit the like button, share with your friends, whatever you want to do. Just kind of get the word out there that I'm here making videos, because if you like my content and you share it, it just helps me out and allows me to make more videos. So anyway, thank you again. Look forward to the next video of the Mustang, where we're dropping the engine in. We're going to be getting the heads fixed here probably this week. Just see where we go from there. We're really not going to have a rush on the project since it's kind of nearing the end of the year. But you know, who knows? We'll see where it goes. Again, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in another video.